Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Porsche 911 GT3 edition at Silverstone Grand Prix. So if you're new to my channel, what we do is a hot lap followed by a breakdown lap, and then we will actually be back in the cockpit one final time without me talking with the driving line on. A lot of you have messaged me and said that that's the way you actually prefer to learn the track originally, with the driving line on, so fair enough. Anyway, enough of that, let's start the hot lap. All right, let's go. So we're smashing it down the start-finish straight. And we're just going to do a lift here into Abbey. So we get to the 50, lift, drop it down to 5th, back on the gas. Now we're really hugging tight on the left-hand side as we get to the 100, braking up to about 60%, long trail off, down to 2nd gear. Back over to the right-hand side. Now we're lightly on the brakes to about 30%, again a long trail off, smoothly back on with the gas. We're going to go absolutely flat here through turn 5, Aintree. Now we're looking for between the 50 and the 100 here. Drop it down to 3rd, just clipping that apex. Lightly on the brakes again, dropping it down to 2nd, and then once again got to be patient with the gas pedal. Can't exit too much wider than I did there. Now we're going to cut in here. Up to 6. Now, the key is not to brake too hard. Down to 5th gear, back on the gas. Exit nice and wide, any further over to the left, and that is an off track. Up to 6th gear. Now, on the brakes, up to about 30%. Quick trail off. Same again, and one final time as we slowly decrease the speed down to 3rd gear. Now, we're absolutely flat here down the hanger straight. Heading back over to the left-hand side. Looking for that 100, braking up to about 60%, down to 4th, down to 3rd, back on the gas. And we're braking just after the 100, up to about 75%, down to 2nd gear, back on the gas, our big lift, back on the gas, and we're absolutely flat to the start-finish line. And over and across the line in a 158.8. Now, this was on warm tyres, and as you can see, this was on low fuel, so I just hit 10 litres at the start-finish line. Right, let's do the breakdown. Right, let's do the breakdown. So, our first braking marker, even though we're not going to brake, is the 50 here on the left-hand side. We're going to do a big lift. Getting back on the gas on the apex. Now we're going to start braking just as we get to the 100. Trailing it off down to the apex. Back on the gas. Now basically, as you move to the outside of the turn here, just as you come to the end of the white and black hatchings on the left-hand side, so it's going to be our braking marker, and we're going to brake up to about 30%, and we're going to trail that off down to the apex and start building back up as we get there. Getting up to 100%. Absolutely flat here and cutting the corner slightly. Next braking marker is midway between the 50 and the 100. We brake up to about 60%, trail it off down to the apex. So as we hit this apex here, any further over to the left-hand side and you are getting an off track, but we should be building back up on the gas. So I'm already at sort of 2/3 pressure as I hit the apex. And then our next braking marker is going to be just as we approach this curbing here on the right-hand side. So as you can see, as I get there, brake briefly up to about 35%. I trail it off. I come away from the curbing so I can drop it down to 2nd and get a better angle in. And I'm just holding the gas at around 40-50% until the corner starts to open up. And that's when I can floor it. Back over to the right-hand side. So the key here in cops is not to brake too hard. So we're looking for the 100 meter board on the left-hand side. As we get there, braking up to about 45%, trail it off, and then basically as we hit this apex, we want to be building back up on the gas. So as you can see, I'm nearly 18, 90, so 100% as I'm on the curb here. Any earlier and you are going to have an off track on exit. This is right where you want to be. So we're flat here as we come into the first section of maggots. Now, as we get to this curb, that's when we are going to do a big lift and lightly on the brakes, only up to about 30%. Trail that off down to the second apex here. Now we get back on the gas in fifth gear, and then we're just basically doing the same corner, the next two corners, just in reverse each time and gradually getting slower. So this time only braking up to about 20%. As I get to the apex, getting back on the gas, this time in fourth gear. And then we do the same again for the final one as we come into Beckett's. Getting back on the gas in third this time. We come down the Haggard straight into Stowe. And this time, once again, we are looking for the 100-meter board on the left-hand side. So as we get there, braking briefly up to about 60%, we're going to trail that off down to third gear, getting ourselves over to the apex. Now, I went early a couple of times, as you can see there, and then I did actually hit 100% as I'm leaving the curbing. Now, it's very easy to brake too early here coming into the chicane, so wait until you are passing this or right about to pass this 100-meter board. Brake briefly up to about 75%, wipe all that speed off, drop it down to second before you turn in. You're going to get nice and tight to the no-cut curbs, the sausage curbs, back on the gas, and then we're just doing a lift, missing that second sausage curb, which will send you into space. And then we get back onto 100% gas, and that is where we stay. So we've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking, because you guys have been asking for it. Apparently a lot of you learn that way. Let's do it.